Hey everyone, Investor back to another video for today. So as promised, let's talk about Qualcomm. And surprisingly, we also have some very positive news for the company, and that's why yesterday the stock actually popped when everything else was red. So what exactly happened there? So Qualcomm spikes on report it will remain iPhone 5G modem chip supplier in 2023. Now, when I'm filming this, the stock is up 3.48% when everything else is red. You can see here Apple close to 3% down. So Qualcomm shares were trading sharply higher Tuesday on a report that Apple's push to develop modem chips for the iPhone may have failed and that Qualcomm will remain the exclusive supplier of 5G chips for phones to be launched in the 2023 second half. Now, very important to note that the analyst here, we're going to have a look at the broader note, but the analyst added that he thinks Apple will continue to develop 5G modem chips, but by the time Apple succeeds and can replace Qualcomm, Qualcomm's other new businesses should have grown enough to significantly offset the negative impacts caused by the order loss of iPhone 5G chips. Qualcomm has been pushing its business into new areas, including personal computers and automotive systems. We're going to have a look at their last quarterly earnings in just a bit. But first, some more color here on that same analyst note. So it's an analyst from TF International Securities said via Twitter, my latest survey indicates that Apple's own iPhone 5 modem chip development may have failed, so Qualcomm will remain exclusive supplier for those same chips for the new iPhone in the second half of next year with a 100% supply share versus company's previous estimate of 20%. Qualcomm's revenue and EPS in the second half of 23 and first half of 24 will likely beat market consensus thanks to its sole supplier position for 5G of these iPhones. He strongly believes that Apple will continue to develop its own 5G chips, as we said before, and by the time they succeed into replacing that, well, Qualcomm's new business should have grown enough to significantly offset the negative impacts caused by the order loss. Now, Qualcomm shares in the afternoon were up 7%. As we've seen, it was just up 3.5%. Quite a good day for Qualcomm, quite a bad day for the overall market, and certainly good for the future of this company. And now, as always, a quick look at some metrics here. So as we can see, the free cash flow, very good, positively, $7.2 billion. We've seen that in the 5 dividend stocks that I picked out in the last 2 videos, I believe. So yes, Qualcomm is a growth company that is also paying a nice little dividend yield. Return on equity, 107% here, so extremely strong. Gross profit margin sits at 58.51%. It was higher, but then obviously with supply chain issues, etc., it has gone down a bit. And then drawdown from its peak, it's only down 30%. And I say only down because we've seen other companies that are down, well, 50, 60, 70, 80, even 90% from their peak. So quite good there. And remember, you get paid a dividend 4 times per year. So down 30% plus the dividend, if this position is big enough, that could have offset some of these losses. And now before I jump into the earnings report to show you a bit how the business is doing, if you want to support this channel, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to full.com/couchinvestor, and also do check out all the other links in the pinned comment. Some of them might save you some money. Alright, so the second quarter of fiscal year 2022 looked like this. It was a very good quarter for the company. So revenues $11.2 billion, year-over-year growth of 41%, GAAP earnings per share of $2.57, non-GAAP $3.21. Now, QTC, QTL, and others, if you don't know what that means, QTC is basically their main business. So the phones and everything there, not the phone actually, but the chips. QTL is mainly the patents because Qualcomm has a lot of patents and it makes a lot of money from them. And then the others is always all the rest. So QCT, record revenue of $9.5 billion and record EBT of $3.3 billion. It increased that by 111% year over year. Now combined RF front-end and IoT and automotive revenues totaled $3.2 billion. We're going to have more details down below here. Now EBT margin of 35%, That's above guidance and up 10 percentage points year over year. Now for the QTL, for the patents, that was revenue of $1.6 billion above guidance midpoint, and EBT margin of 73%, also above that guidance midpoint. Now, as for the others, this is not a business segment. This is part of the business, but not a business segment, right? They have returned $1.7 billion to stockholders, including $1 billion of share repurchases and $0.8 billion in dividends. It increased now annualized dividend payout to $3 per share of common stock. That's 10% more than the prior one, and completed the acquisition of Arriver business following SSW partner of around $4.6 billion. And now a bit more color on, well, their QCT business side. So handset, $6.3 billion, RF front end, 1.2, automotive, 339 million, and Internet of Things, 1.7 billion. So let's talk a bit about these segments right here. So the handset one, you know, Snapdragon, for example, well, basically that's Qualcomm. So revenue is on track to grow over 50% year over year in fiscal year 2022, increased its premium tier processor volume for Samsung Galaxy S22 smartphones, which is the one I have, so you're welcome, to 75% or so, up from around 40% in the Galaxy S21, and in continued traction with leading smartphone OEMs such as Samsung, Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, and Honor, where they continue to be the mobile technology platform of choice for premium and high-tier Android. Now, I do want to add something here, and that's one of the risks of investing in Qualcomm is obviously, since a lot of it comes from the sales of smartphones, is that, well, it's highly concentrated in that market for now, but as we've seen, they are growing in the other segments as well. And the other big risk here is the highly concentration in China. That's something to take into consideration. Next up, we have RF frontend, so they're driving 5G modem, as we've talked about before. Their 5th generation modem RF system now implements advanced features such as AI integration, millimeter wave and sub-6 dual connectivity, and 5G sub-6. You know what? I'm not even going to read this because I can't really explain everything that's behind those names here. So there you have it. If you can explain all that, do that in the comments below. Now, automotive, obviously with the acquisition of Arriver, they're enhancing their ability to deliver open, fully integrated and competitive ADAS, which is not full self-driving, but it's already pretty good. And second point here, design win pipeline of over $16 billion on continued traction and design wins across global automakers and Tier 1 customers for their Snapdragon digital chassis technology. And last thing is Internet of Things. Also over 50% year over year revenue growth across each consumer, edge networking, and industrial, the fastest growing revenue stream in the first half of 2022, with over $1 billion of year over year growth. And last point here is the industrial IoT, Internet of Things, experienced the fastest year over year revenue growth within IoT this quarter, driven by continued demand for both connectivity and advanced processing at the edge. So as the analysts said before, they are growing this other segment pretty fast, so that should offset the potential loss of those, well, iPhones in the future. So that was Qualcomm. Obviously, do share down in the comments below if you own shares of Qualcomm. If you do share your thoughts on, well, this announcement that we had yesterday. I personally do not own any shares in Qualcomm, but to be honest, it's a tremendous company to own, pays a nice dividend, has growth in a super growing market. So what's not to like there? So hopefully you like this type of videos. If you do leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.